once I got into it and I seen what I was able to do, like being able to have a multi-million-dollar company my first year with only 2 offices, I was like, man, just imagine if I keep going. So I poured more, I invested more, I start educating myself more, and now I have a nationwide tax franchise.
Wow. You might have to take notes on this bitch. Famous and Wealthy Podcast. Today, man, we got Deja, the CEO, in the building, man. Today, we're going to be talking about tax franchises, man. So, look, I want to know exactly where you from, how you get started, like, how you making so much money.
Hey, I'm Deja. I'm from Jonesboro, Louisiana. It's a small town, North Louisiana. I'm from Jonesboro, and I was into nursing, and I had a year left of nursing school, stopped going to school, and COVID hit, really. So when COVID hit, I got into doing taxes. Started with just my family, friends, and I was using TurboTax like everybody else was. Yeah. So after that, I joined someone's tax team. I seen a Facebook ad, and this girl was killing it. I'm like, man, if she can do that, I can probably do this on the side, see what it's about. And my first year, I made $50K just doing taxes for a small amount of people. I was doing it. I had a full-time job and everything. And I said, if I could do this part-time, make a little bit, if I put my all into this, I could go crazy. So one day I literally woke up and I quit my job. I'm like, I'm about to just go all in. Like, I was determined to learn. And when I started, I didn't have a mentor. So I was really researching, trying to figure out, okay, what do I do? How do I do this? What systems do I need? Because when I was learning and teaching myself, I realized, I'm like, man, hold on, I got to figure out an easier way to make this happen. How do I communicate with all of these people? How do I help my team? And so I really start creating systems early. Yeah. And from there, it's been up.
Being from that small town, and seeing people on the outside win and seeing people around you at the time, how did it like motivate you to get a mentor and stuff like that?
First, I would just say finding somebody that has already done what you're trying to do is going to make your role a whole lot easier. I feel like a lot of people downplay mentorship, and it's because they like, oh, well, why should I pay them? Because they already got it figured out. Right. So why not streamline your process by going to somebody who can teach you the game? So I definitely, again, ads. I'm going to keep saying ads because y'all ads is important for real. Yeah, it is. So I saw ads for a mentor, and she was killing it. And I joined her program, and from there she taught me a whole nother level to the tax game that went into what I was already creating, because I always knew I wanted to do a tax franchise. Because I look at it like, okay, you walk in Walmart, you always see these tax companies in there, but you never see who's behind it because there's so many of them. So I'm like, well, why can't we create that? Why can't I create that? And nobody else was really doing it. So again, our community is taking over. I feel like the tax industry, especially females, and we killing it. So the next thing I would say would be tax franchise. So that's why I got into, going that way.
For people that's watching right now that don't know what a tax franchise is, break it down a little bit. What is that?
Okay, so when you think tax franchise, think Jackson Hewitt, H&R Block. It's a company that has offices everywhere. They basically give you their foundation, their blueprint, let you capitalize from it, and you're able to offer the same services. Of course, a franchise will make money off of all of the offices, but it's really not. The owners make more from it. You know what I mean? So you're basically buying a blueprint or buying into the blueprint, setting up your own location, building your own teams, but they're providing you their systems. Right. So it's streamlined you starting your own tax office by buying into somebody else's.
So let's say if somebody a felon, you know what I mean, could they still be into taxes? Or
you can. Believe it or not, it's a lot of owners that operate a tax business, but they don't actively prepare taxes.
Exactly.
So yes, anybody can buy into a I feel like depending on who you're buying into with and their requirements, I feel like a felon could definitely invest into a tax franchise. Now, when it comes to preparing taxes, of course, the IRS will require you to do a background check. You go get fingerprinted and things like that. But it's a lot of felons in the tax industry. Just to make it clear like that. Sure. Yeah.
So, what is like the minimum money that's required to actually start a tax franchise?
I think when I started my tax business, my first year out the gate, before mentorship, investing, and things like that, I think I spent about $1,500, and that was just to start a tax business, because all you need to start a tax business is your software mainly, and being able to train and be knowledgeable about taxes. So from there, investing into a franchise, it would just depend on the company that you're investing into. I know to invest into my company is actually cheap. I started off cheap, but every year the price go up,
Right.
So $10K to invest into a company to make $1 million,
Damn.
you can win like that. And
Yeah.
it definitely comes back. I can say for everybody that has joined my mentorship, they touch six figures their first tax season. A tax season is 3 to 4 months.
Wow.
So to be able to touch six figures, or I think my lowest person had touched 200K their first year as an office owner under my franchise. So that let me know, the blueprint is there.
Yeah.
If you just join in, follow the blueprint, you definitely gonna get to a bag.
What do you normally charge for mentorship?
My mentorship ranges. Well, let's start with direct mentorship, and I always start with this one because that's the money getter. Why
Right.
not get direct access to the blueprint? And not only am I providing you my blueprint, I'm helping you build your own. Because what works for me might not work for you. So we literally go deeper into how do you want your office to flow? What do you want from this? What is your wealth legacy? What are you trying to,
Yeah.
get from this? Is this something temporary, or are you trying to make this last forever for your kids, their kids,
Right.
So my direct mentorship starts at $20K. You're definitely gonna get it back. If you think about it, in the tax industry, you make $20K in a day.
Oh, wow.
Like, just based off of your clients, if you follow the blueprint and you have the systems to operate a high clientele, you definitely can make $20K in a day. So that investment is literally easy to make, and I have a lot of people do it. And if they're not able to get into my $20K program, what I offer is credit. So we do more than taxes with Wealthy Crew Financial. So by doing credit, we also offer funding. So we'll sweep your credit, get your credit right, make it presentable to where you can get funding from the bank, use that money, invest it back into yourself to start a tax franchise, or, be able to get that direct mentorship to build you up, because you're definitely going to get it back. Like, it's easy to get back to the back, get your money back.
Yeah, that's wild. So at a time, when you first started doing taxes, what made you realize, like, I need to jump into taxes, like, for sure, like, over everybody else, with the competition, with the systems that you got? Like, what made you really, like, say, I need to learn this?
COVID. During COVID, I lost, like, and just, I think on a more personal side, for me, when I was growing up, I always, like, had a little security in my grandpa and my uncle. They was the ones like, okay, as long as you're doing good, they gonna look out, make sure you straight. And I lost my grandpa during COVID. So to me, it's like an eye opener, like, dang, who I'm gonna call on if I need somebody? So I got into taxes, and then just knowing that I could generate that amount of money part-time, just working under somebody else. If I went full-fledged into this, I knew I could dominate this, because once my mind made up, I'm gonna get it done. So I definitely feel like that's what kind of drove me to do it. But once I got into it and I seen what I was able to do, like being able to have $1 million, multi-million-dollar company my first year with only 2 offices, I was like, man, just imagine if I keep going. So I poured more, I invested more, I start educating myself more, and now I have a, like, nationwide tax franchise.
Wow. So earlier on, when you started, when you were looking at people returns, right? What did you see on their returns to make you say, okay, well, they not doing this right. They gonna lose if they don't do that right?
Education. I feel like ads, commercials, you see TurboTax year round. Come file your taxes yourself. You can do it, blase, blase. But it's like, anybody can go on there and file their taxes, but if you're not educated on the credits and the things that you can use to deduct, make deductions so you can increase your refund. If you're not educated, you can't make that happen.
Right.
So I always tell people, like, they're like, well, I normally file for myself, and I ask them, well, how much do you normally get back? And it's always lower than what I'm getting for my clients, and it's a way to file your taxes without scamming. I feel like that's like a big trend in the world, but it's like you can get your money legally. So, that's not really hard to do as long as you're educated.
Yeah. So what mindset you think shifted you from just doing taxes into like actually building the infrastructure?
You gotta have a CEO mindset.
Yeah, you do.
And I can honestly say in all of my mentorships, the first portion of it is your mindset, because you can literally trick yourself out of being successful if your mind is not. You already have to think that way. You have to know what you're working towards and what you're trying to do, and that whole shift will make you get there. So if you want to be a millionaire, you need to have a millionaire mindset. And then I can also say plan ahead of time. So if you know you about to have a multi-million-dollar company, start planning for that. Start planning for the taxes with that. Start planning for a payroll and deductions. Think ahead of time, because I find that a lot of my high income earners, they're like, okay, I want to make this money, but they didn't plan for when they got the money, and that comes back to hurt them. They're typically owing. They're mixing personal and business expenses and things like that, commingling.
Yeah.
What else? I would just say they miss out on a lot of deductions because they wasn't prepared before getting to the bag.
Yeah. So for me, right, I'm in the credit space, and it's a lot of competition. Do you believe that in your space it's a lot of competition as well? And what will separate you from actually, like for me, I'm very flashy, and I'm gonna make it really hard for you to catch me. You know what I mean? So running $300,000 a month in ads, taking trips, having lifestyle, just basically, if you do the same thing, I'm going to make people want to pay me faster than they pay you. You know what I mean?
Right.
What do you think about your industry? I know it's a lot of females, but as far as females, it's actually easier for you because they're not going to spend that. They're not going to spend real money into ads. They're not going to overly be flashy or anything like that. So what do you think about that?
Investing definitely, like I said, streamlines, and I can honestly say that has happened for me. You can't be scared. How can you expect to get money and you scared to spend money?
Yeah.
So with that part of it, I do feel like in the tax industry, like you said, there is competition, but you really just got to set yourself apart in anything you do, and you have to find your lane and stick to it. So for me, the way the tax industry works, you start as a tax preparer, then you can become an office owner, and then the next part with, typically people choose to be a service bureau. After service bureau, people are like, okay, well, what's next? So a lot of people don't know it is really franchising. And I feel like I'm coming into the franchise industry early because I can't really tell you people who are successfully, growing and scaling their business this fast. So the next step would be tax franchise, and now that's what my mentorship is teaching. And you just always got to think next. What's next? How do you keep your business growing? Because every year somebody else is going to copy your blueprint or, try to master that blueprint. Okay, start thinking next level. Once I teach this, that's why I don't mind coaching it, because that's really just how you have to think in the world. Yeah. What's next? How can I set myself apart? And making sure that whatever you do, you have value in it. Because your people going to stick with you if your programs, your systems, your services, if you have value in your programs, your people not going to leave you. So I feel like that's where a lot of people miss out at. They lose their value.
Yeah. So why do you think so many people are scared of taxes? Like when IRS ain't even the biggest problem?
Because they're not knowledgeable. They're not educated on what they should be. The IRS really isn't scary. Like, I think that's crazy. A lot of people are scared of the IRS, but the main thing, like the main gem I can give on that is make sure it makes sense. Because when the IRS gets your tax returns and your documents, they don't know your lifestyle. They don't have a picture here to match it up. Like, okay, they drive this car. Yeah. This is what this paper say. They're looking at numbers. Taxes is math at the end of the day. Does it make sense? So I feel like that's where a lot of people go wrong, because they're filing, but the story that they're trying to present, it doesn't make sense. So that's how they end up with audits and things like that.
Right. So if you had to start over, right, what would be, for somebody that's watching that don't have nothing going on, they watching the interview right now, they see you, they want to get in your field, they don't got the money, they stressed out, like, what would you say that they could do like right now to actually be you?
Okay, so to get next to me or get that mentorship and coaching, I do have a school community.
Yeah.
In this school community, I literally pour into I daily posting, daily interactions. We have weekly trainings, and every week is something different. But it's not just taxes, it's not just credit and funding. It's full mentorship. So
Yeah.
I literally pour value into that community, and it's only $49 a month.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
And that's really, I allow you to do your own credit. I literally give you the similar gems and things, but that's you putting in the work. Mm-hmm. So if you're trying to get into my mentorship and that's what you're working up to, I would definitely say start with my school community.
It's a lot of dudes that pay me, right? That's lazy, right? So not saying that a lot of people, are lazy, but what if somebody come, they got a lot of money and they just like, man, I'll pay you to set up my tax stuff. Like, what would you say to those type of people?
That's the franchise itself.
Oh, okay.
If you want to, that's literally what you're investing into. I'm giving you the systems. Right. I'm giving you your software. And that's a big thing in the tax industry. When you're joining under people and getting their software, there's a chance that they could take all of your clients' information. They can cut you out, from your own clients and things. So I would definitely say, why start under somebody else when you can start under your own and keep all of your stuff? Because I do see that a lot in the tax industry. They get locked out of their systems mid-tax season, and then that creates a problem for not only you but your clients as well, because that's their personal information. So for me, like I said, I would just start, building myself up and being able to build myself up with the direction from somebody that's going to help me and help me master it. It cuts out, a lot of money coming to you.
What tax credit and tax deductions that people miss out every year because nobody explained to them?
I would say for high income earners, knowing what they can write off. I feel like a lot of high income earners miss out on a lot of deductions, and definitely their state deductions. If you have state taxes coming back, always educate yourself on what you're eligible for your state. For low income, I think their filing status messes them up because a lot of people will file single when they should be filing head of household, and not knowing that head of household credits actually will benefit them more most of the time. Educational credits. If you're in college, you can get some money. Y'all paying to go to school, but that money, the IRS has a way they have credits available for you as well. So just really just knowing, being educated or going to a knowledgeable tax preparer to be able to let you know what credits you're eligible for. That's what the whole tax preparer process is. Going to somebody educated to help you get your money.
Right. What silent mistakes that people make on their returns that don't hurt them today but hurt them years later?
I got two answers for that. Going to a tax preparer and you don't know what they're filing on your tax return. So I know in 2022, 23-ish, the fuel credit went crazy. Like that was just something. And people like, okay, you give me 30 bands back, cool. But this year, they're coming to us and they're like, hey, can you amend my return? All of that, because the IRS want their money back. So when you're going to somebody to file your taxes, make sure to clients out there, make sure y'all know what they're putting on your return, because it definitely can come back to bite you. And then when you have businesses and you're commingling funds, I definitely feel like that can affect you later on, because if you receive an audit and you don't have those documents and things and they paid you this refund, they're going to want their money back. So just making sure you have all your stuff together and you're going to somebody that can make sure you're structured properly.
So when do you think, let's say if somebody has a side hustle, right? Mm-hmm. When do you think that they're going to say, okay, I need some structure in my life to actually get to another level? When do you think that start? Because we know a lot of hustlers out here, right? Yeah. And they don't really, like, I was talking to my homie the other day, and I'm just like, man, you got to get right. You know what I mean? And they just, they want to, but they don't know, like, what, like, the leap. You know what I mean? And they're like, I don't know if I should get in that field. I don't know if I should get in this field. Like, what should I do? And I'm like, you have it all in your face. Yeah. I think at first, like you said, it starts with mentorship first. looking at somebody that's successful and saying, okay, well, I need to get with them, and then actually applying what you need, because just because you pay somebody don't mean that they still got to put in the work, you know?
Definitely.
So they want to pay for mentorship. They want to not put in the work. It's kind of like, how do you help those type of clients?
So when you have somebody that's, like you said, they got the hustle in them, but not the legal hustle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's funny because I was talking to my people about this. I was like, y'all know the IRS wants you to report all income.
Yeah.
And they don't have, like, it's no laws in there that says where their income comes from. So it's crazy. Like I said, I'm going to come out here and be real. I said, I just wonder if the street people paid in on their income, would they be left alone? And if you think about it, that's really, like, I really feel like that would be the way to go, because they getting their money and you keeping yours. You know what I mean? So just imagine if you took your illegal money and made it legal in a way, you know, they not going to turn down getting their money coming in.
Because, like, this is the thing. I feel like a lot of people do get caught because after 5, 6, 7 years of no taxes, but you steady putting money in the bank, is an instant red flag to get looked at, right? Yeah,
and then any money that's going into a system, so this could be a bank, this could be a digital platform, even with Facebook and Instagram, y'all, they issue out 1099. So anytime you're receiving any type of tax forms, that means it's already reported. So Cash App, I know Cash App is like a big one, especially for your people that's got their hustle, but it's not on paper. I feel like that's the biggest thing that gets them attention. And then the way social media is set up now, the IRS will really follow you on social media and you'll never know it. They're looking at your lifestyle. So they see that you're getting this money on Cash App. You're making thousands of dollars, like hundreds of thousands of dollars coming through Cash App. You even set your Cash App up as a business, but you're not reporting it when it's time to file your taxes. So then they look at your social media. Okay, how is he able to live like this? I feel like that's what puts the biggest target on people's back, because they're not structuring themselves early. They're not filing their taxes and making themselves legit. I feel like that's where a lot of them go wrong.
So why do you think business owners, you know, they make money all year but panic when tax season comes?
Planning. Tax planning is really a thing, and if you're with the tax preparer and they can't help you plan out your year, you need to go to somebody else. I mean, come file with us for real, because tax planning goes far. You can't make money and not know the expenses that come with the money that you make, and that's just simple. You know, simply that you have to pay in on the money that you make, and it's ways around it too. Nonprofits, you know. You can start a nonprofit and be able to give back to where that money becomes non-taxable. You can invest into other things, you know, buy vehicles that will help you to where you wanted that vehicle anyway, but it's deductible on your taxes. So really just going to somebody that can help you map out your year. If you typically, pay quarterly taxes, that way it's not hitting you hard at the end of the year. So the main thing would be just going to somebody that can help educate you and help you plan on your money. Even the money that you're planning to make. If you know you're about to touch 6 figures, 7 figures next year, start planning now. I also teach my people too about transitioning from an LLC to an S corp. You know, you're taxed way more when you're an LLC, sole proprietor, you know, things like that. So if you can transition over to an S corp, and I actually advise my people, when you're making about $60K up, go on and transition over to an S corp so you won't be taxed so hard. I help you set up your payroll and literally the full process. So like I said, with my company, we do more than just taxes. We do credit funding, payroll, bookkeeping, and business consulting.
Yeah. What is the biggest lie somebody tells themselves about write-offs, right? When it comes to meals, traveling and stuff like that.
They think they can write off everything. But it's actually, you can't write off a lot, but you have to know how to do it properly, especially with travel meals. Okay, if you're having a meeting, it has to be in the terms of a business meeting. You know, you can't write off you going to McDonald's spending $10 every day. That's not in the eyes of the IRS, I'm not gonna say you can't do it, but that's legally not the way. That's not the point of them offering that. So really, just being educating on the different things that's deductible and how they're deductible. Not, if you get on TikTok, they'll tell you everything that's deductible, but they don't go into detail to tell you how it benefits you. So that, again, comes back into tax planning and knowing, okay, if I go buy this Cadillac Escalade and it's over the 6,000 pounds, that they look at, okay, you can write that off each year to where it's benefiting your tax refund every year for like the 5-year period that you're writing it off and things like that.
Around what year did you feel like social media can be life-changing?
After I got to the money.
Yeah.
I knew if I got to the money silently, low key, and I mastered it, and then I took it to social media by now. And I'm actually glad I did it this way, because now my systems are set up to handle clients, mentorship, partners. I'm able to handle all of it because now I have systems in place. So I'm glad that I went the way that I did. And I know some people go opposite. They go straight social media, go hard, and then they figure out the systems. And I feel like, for me, I feel like that's backwards, but that's something I see done all the time. Yeah. They'll offer high-ticket mentorships and things like that, but they lose their value because they're not able to accommodate the workload that comes with it, not being able to do all of these meetings and run a company still. So I definitely feel like now I'm to the, now that my systems are set up and I'm able to handle all parts of what I'm doing, now I can take it to social media and go crazy with it. So this my year of popping out.
So do you believe that mixing personal and business money can destroy a business? Because, a lot of people will be doing, because like you said, we got to, like, for instance, like I was spending a lot of money on my personal debit, and I end up on more in taxes. You know what I mean? Because I'm thinking like, okay, this is not business, but it really was business, and I didn't know the difference between business and personal. You know what I mean? So, they superly taxing you on a personal. So for people that don't really know too much about that, kind of break it down a little bit about the business versus the personal.
I would definitely separate the two. And the main thing with that too is credit. I feel like there's a lack of knowledge on credit. Yeah. And within the last few years, credit has been going crazy, and I'm glad it has, because a lot of people are simply uneducated. They don't teach this in school. No. And that's something they really should put in the high school systems, like teach people about credit. And then for our culture, our community, I feel like we weren't taught that growing up. Right. If you look at other races, like I had friends, when they go to dinner, they're talking about wealth. They're talking about wealth management. We don't talk about that growing up. Yeah. Like, I can honestly say, my grandpa tried to instill certain things in me. He never used a debit card, and we used to think he was crazy. Yeah. And he never even had a debit card. So when I first got one, he was angry, and I'm like, it's my money. Exactly, it's being spent. What's the difference? But now I wish I had listened, just simply because if I had listened to him, my credit good. I'm not gonna say don't go to nobody to fix your credit if their credit ain't good. Yeah. But ultimately, separating personal and business gonna definitely help you, because like you said, you are taxed more, and then you can do so much more with writing stuff off for your business to where it benefits not only your business, it's gonna come back and benefit you, because you're probably be more open to receiving a refund back on that money when you file it through your business.
What legal moves that business owners should be making all year instead of scrambling in March and April?
Bookkeeping. I feel like a lot of people don't have their stuff in order, to where when it's time to get it in order, it's like, oh, let me see this. Oh, I forgot this. If you already have an operating business, even on your personal side, if you have a lot of money flowing different direction and things like that, get it set up early. Like, so I have a lot of clients that come to me for bookkeeping that are already my tax clients, and they don't have to worry about, oh, I got to get this to Deja so she can make sure it's filed. I already know, because I already do their bookkeeping. So I'm already categorizing their expenses. I already know they went and bought a boat. I'm going to write that boat off on their taxes. I already know they bought this Escalade. Okay, that's going to be a write-off. I already know so much on what they're doing because I'm managing their money throughout the whole year. Even with paying in taxes, I help them. Okay, so if you're why are you owing $27,000 every year? Why are you owing all this money to them every year? And it's probably because they are not planning. They're not writing off the correct things to where now all of my clients, my main thing is eliminating your debt. When I do taxes, my motto is eliminate debt, maximize refund. Because everybody say I'm maxing you out, but y'all not talking about the debt that you're eliminating for your clients. And they don't get to see all of this. So when you go to a properly structured tax preparer who knows their stuff, it's good. You know, they're going to eliminate your debt first because a lot of people owe. So that's what made the difference in how much money you get back. Because a lot of times we got to work to get you that money back.
Right. So do you believe you have a whole different crew of people, like friends, versus the friends you had 15 years ago? Or is everybody still the same, you think?
Lie. I think, yeah, definitely, for sure. Yeah. And it's a mindset thing. You know, some people not on the same journey, you know what I mean? Yeah. So what's important to me, like, okay, for me, legacy. You know, right. I'm big on making sure my son is good. I want him to have a whole different experience than I had growing up. Yeah. And not saying it was bad, but I want him to have more than I had at the end of the day. And I know I inspire him. So that's really my legacy. You know, that's what I'm big on. And to some people, they're okay with being able to live day to day, come home to their kids day to day. So it's really just a mindset thing. And don't get me wrong, a lot of my people I grew up with, I'm still like, I go home and I'm that country girl again. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So I don't feel like everybody's the same, and then everybody can't handle your growth.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to appreciate that. With growth, with elevation comes separation. Right. And that's really something that's true. And it comes from all lanes. So just making sure you're prepared for that, because it can be, you know, if you're not mentally strong, that can affect you. Some people, I've seen people like down and out because their whole environment changed and they become lonely. But if you strong, I'm strong minded.
Yeah.
You know, you got to get with it.
Exactly.
See you when I see you.
As far as like the discipline, right? Because, you know, a lot of people don't have discipline. How did you get the discipline to be how you are? Because so many, like 90% of people don't got the discipline to actually stay focused. You know what I'm saying?
I think I was around a mixed group of people growing up. So I had structure on this side, and then I seen a little side of the illegal, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, you can really have generational wealth if you plan and you build your stuff up, you know. And like I said, I came from a foundation of that, but I was seeing something totally different. I'm seeing the street money. I'm seeing people really out here flexing, living a lifestyle. So you really, if you're able to see the difference in the two, and I feel like I saw that early, like, okay, that's cool. It go, like when you're getting that fast money, it's cool, but it can go just as fast.
Exactly.
And when you over here, you can invest this money, and over time it grows to where you can invest at 25, by the time you 50, be a multimillionaire off of just your investment. So being able to know that you can invest and get that same money, and it'll go a little bit slower, but ultimately that's where, you know, the route you want to go. I feel like that's the main thing. So separating if you want the quick money, or if you know, just take that risk that come with that quick money.
Why do clean taxes and bookkeeping matter more to the bank than people realize?
Funding. You cannot go to the bank and tell them, oh, I have $1 million in cash and I need you to give me $1 million more to match that so I can do something else.
Yeah.
They're going to look at you crazy. You got to, like, when it comes to somebody giving you some money, they need foundation. They need to know, like, okay, why am I giving it to you? How am I going to know? You know, you need that solid, they need to have that solid feeling knowing that they're going to get their money back. So when it comes to credit and funding, even with business credit, I feel like a lot of people, like, just off of social media, they tell them, oh, you don't have to have good personal credit. When you starting off your business credit, where y'all think they're going to pull from? Unless you got crazy cash flow coming in from your bank, because it can be done. I've seen it happen, but just for the regular people, you have to have your personal credit together to, you know, get things going. So the banks need proper documentation. You know, is your business set up? Do you have an EIN number? If you start that early, if you build your programs up early the right way, when it comes to when you're ready to get that money, you're gonna already be set up. So proper bookkeeping comes into play because you want to make sure you have a profitable business to where the bank is going to say like, okay, they're able to manage their business properly, pay their expenses, and still, have this profitable amount. So that looks good. That's going to, make it easier for you to get that money that you're requesting.
Yeah. So when applying for funding, what are lenders doing behind the scenes to judge the app, you think?
I think it really depends on where you're going, and sometimes it's all about who you know too.
Yeah, true.
Like when it comes to funding, that's something, you have your basic credit cards, and that's just a thing right now, credit and funding. So if you can get in on the credit and funding and master it now, this is the time to. So when it comes to the funding though, I do feel like I say, when you starting out, they want to know what's your personal life like. Because, yeah, somebody can get into business and go crazy with it, and it's beneficial to the bank too, but they're going to look at your personal. Also, just the documentation. I wouldn't give anybody some money that's not structured properly. How can I know that you're going to pay me back? How do I, that's just the basics of it. And then when I say relationships, when you connect it and you can make a phone call opposed to doing an application online, that's the whole direct connection. So when you go to funding, make sure ask, like to clients that's needing funding, ask questions, find out who you're working with. Cause I know for me, being able to pick up my phone and say, hey, I got a client that needs funding. They have this, that, and the third. And to be like, okay, send me their stuff, I'm gonna get it done. That's a way better feeling than waiting on that little circle to spin when you do a bank application or credit application online.
What are scammers doing that can get them in trouble in taxes?
Lifestyle.
Yeah.
Scammers are getting the money, and they're getting the money, of course, illegally, and they're maximizing on certain credits, writing off things that shouldn't be written off to where they're able to get people a lot of money back. They charge them more, and then they go ghost on the client. So the client ends up owing that money, but the scammer is thinking like, okay, well, I made my money from it. Now I can live this lifestyle. Now I can tour the country. Now I can do all of these things, but they don't even go back and report it. They're not reporting their income. So that's just a red flag on top of the fact that with the IRS, clients can report after so many reports that, hey, they filed my taxes wrong. They're doing, all of these things wrong. It's going to come back on you. They look at your social media and see, yeah, they got the money. They're definitely living this lifestyle, but they never filed a return. I feel like that's like the biggest thing of it. Like, yeah, you asking to go fed.
Yeah. So the person who filed the taxes or the client, who gets in trouble? The scammer or the person who they filed? Both? Because
the client ends up owing the money. They can't afford that. Because if they did, they wouldn't have probably did it. Yeah. They can't afford it. So you're in a bind because now your checks are being garnished. Now your lights are off because you went for this easy $50K. You got funded and you can't even get the person that filed your taxes on the phone. So then you have the people that filed the taxes. Now the IRS is getting all of these reports that this one person has did this to all these people taxes. And not only can they can't get in touch with them, but they got this guy's social media page. You think so the next step is going to be, okay, let me go check out their social media. You get on there, they got private jets, they got yacht parties, all of this stuff. The IRS is coming. Yeah. They're definitely going to come next. So I feel like social media can hurt you too.
No, for sure. What do you think the difference is from having a tax franchise versus people just selling tax information online?
Structure. Yeah. Systems, streamlining it. When you join a franchise, especially I'm speaking from joining my franchise, I literally give you everything you need to succeed down to my blueprint. So you're getting a structure, my workflows. How do I make streamlining my client's process easier? You get that full system. You get my full tax software to where you don't have to sit here and calculate, the software literally walks you through everything to streamline that process. And when you join a franchise too, your name hold weights. I feel like every year the name of my company is expanding more, and the reputation from it can make you look better, especially when you're coming in as someone new. So that's definitely a big part of joining a franchise. coming into a brand that's already established. You still own it. You still benefit from it. You can still add your little 1-2 to the franchise, but being able to say you're connected to this brand can make you go further. And also the support. When you start your own company, like I say, yeah, you can get a mentorship. You got the little Facebook groups and things like that, but being able to have a support, a network of people who are doing the same thing, and you're not scared to ask them questions, because I know a lot of times people are scared to ask. So knowing that you have a foundation of people that, okay, they've been doing this, I ain't got to find nobody to ask a question. We have a whole community just for us. So I feel like that's another advantage of joining the franchise.
So it's a lot of people that's watching right now that probably don't even know what a tax software is. Can you break that down a little bit? Like, what exactly is that? Because I hear it a lot, but I don't know exactly what it is.
So the tax software is where you input your information and it generates the tax documents that's needed for you to file. I feel like the software that I use is user friendly. So for somebody that's new, if you need guided training on how to file your clients, we have that option. If you're a pro and you want to file it, it's user friendly. So you can go in, pick which forms you want to use and just go that route. So I feel like that's the benefit of our software. You have the guided training and you have easy use software.
And as far as like, okay, let's say if somebody want to say, all right, well, I want to get on the software, but I'm only 18. Could they be, what's the age limit on it?
I only hire 18 and up. But when you join, so not only do I offer selling my franchise, I do hire tax preparers under our company, and I offer office ownership under my franchise. So by doing either of those things, we fully train you on not only how to be the owner, but you get full tax preparer training. If you want to own your own tax office under our company, you're able to do that. And we not only train you, we train your whole team for you. So again, joining the franchise, we doing everything for you and you benefiting from it.
Yeah. Why do most tax professionals stay seasonal instead of year round?
I would say because they don't know that it's so much more into, if you can get a tax client, especially a business client, to come and file with you and their credit isn't together, or they have a business that they're using all of their own money from when they can be using other people's money. Right. If their business and they're not doing their own bookkeeping or having a bookkeeping or bookkeeper or CPA, then they should be coming back to you. You should be letting them know, hey, I can help you year round. So the infrastructure of your business really need to be set. You should be able to offer more than just taxes. And some people are okay with seasonal, but I feel like the generation we're in, you got to know how to get to a money year round. Because I watch a lot of tax preparers blow their money that they make from tax season before the summer gets there. So why not have year round money coming in?
So being in the male dominant space, like, the financial world, how do you look at everything when it comes to like authority and stuff like that? You know what I'm saying? Because I know we talked about discipline, but like having authority in this space, like how do you handle it?
Your mindset. If you gotta, I know a lot of females are intimidated by men in the finance industry, but when it comes to math, there's no gender. You don't have a male and female mathematical number, mindset. So if a man can do numbers, a woman can too. And it's all about your confidence and your knowledge. How far can you go with it? So if you have that strong mindset that, hey, I can step in this room next to this man, then put me in there, Sure. So if and that's not being cocky, that's just really the truth. We can do the same thing. And if you let somebody a mind is powerful. You let somebody trick you into thinking that just because you're a female you can't do this, then sit down. I'm gonna show you that it can be done for real.
For sure. What's your goals for 2026?
My goals for 2026 is I want to help people. Yeah. Like mentorship and coaching, this is my season to do that. And I really feel like that because last year showed me that it could be done. And it needs to be done. A lot of people just don't know, like they didn't know. Seeing me do it just motivated them, and other people are doing it now. So just imagine if I actually publicly let it be known, like, hey, y'all can stop going in Walmart filing with this company and create your own company, or, you know, just being able to show them that we can do it too.
For sure.
Because it's not, you'll see a tax company here, but what's next? You know, I live in Dallas now. I have went to the store somewhere and I was counting, like I pay attention, like how many tax offices are right here? Yeah. And I'm like, it's like 3 tax offices on one block. Yeah. And I'm like, how are you setting yourself apart? You know, so would you rather have one company, one office in one location, and you got competition literally when you walk outside, or would you rather have franchises everywhere that's still coming back to you, but your team eating too? I feel like that's another thing in the industry. It's a lot of gatekeeping. And that's not just the tax industry. I feel like a lot of people gatekeep just so the people that they're bringing up, you know, not outdoing them, you know, sometimes. So I see that a lot. And it don't have to be like that. If you think in value, if you think in structure.
Why do you think that they think like that, though? Like, why are they... Like me, I want my mentees to do better than me.
Me too.
I'm just like that. That's another person that I can brag on and be like, yeah, like
they give your program value. But I see it a lot, and that's just crazy to me. And I think it's a great thing, but that takes the value from your program, and eventually it will fail because people are gonna notice, like, hey, they're not allowing me to grow. And they're gonna move on. You know, so. That's why I say value really matters in whatever you do. You have to be valuable to not only your clients, but your partners as well.
Yeah. So I be seeing a lot of stuff online about like people doing events. Do you have any events you're planning coming up, tax events?
Yes. So I actually we're planning a Louisiana event. Louisiana, I don't know why, like they don't have a big tax event. It's a lot of tax preparers in Louisiana. So that's that's one of the things on my list this year. I have a few other people in the tax industry that I work with that we're planning that for. And then I do a big company retreat every year for all of my partners where we go to a different city. Last summer we came to Miami for 5 days and we had a big event. We rented a yacht, had a yacht for a full day, had a party, DJ, good time. I also award them. I like my team to know that I really appreciate them. So we go crazy on our whole retreat. This year we're going to California. So just being able to let your team feel appreciated too, that really matters. So I always like to give back to my people.
Yeah. So for anybody that's watching that want to sign up for your mentorship program, want to be able to follow you on, you know, all your social media sites, that want to tap into you directly, give them all the sites and handles that they can hit you up on.
Okay, if you want to work with me, get next to me, know about what I'm doing, y'all can go to my site at Deija, DEIJA, theceo.com. On Instagram and Facebook, Deija the CEO. Get on there, follow, connect, join my community if you need to. Set up an appointment to make a call with me so we can discuss what your plans are to make sure we align and I can help you, because that's what I'm big on. I want to make sure I'm able to get you to where you're trying to go. So reach out to me. We can connect and we can go from there.